Setzer's Gretsch. But this one goes for $3,699.99, and it is a quarter-stone maple of a scale of 25.5, and he's got an ebony fingerboard, 22 frets, and he's got Wolfgang pickups with a AL humbucker neck and humbucker bridge, EVH machine heads. It's a highly reliable build. He says Eddie tried and tested all the features. I was introduced in the 2007-2008 tour that Ed did, and apparently it's a high-quality guitar. What do you think, Dave? You going to pick one up?
I don't know half of what you said, but it sounds impressive.
Right, exactly. So now, just to hit up Dave again, Dave was tweeting heavily. He has been very active on social media now. All of a sudden, he's all over Instagram and he's on Twitter, and he's been tweeting out pictures and little quips and quotes every day almost. It's incredible. Like I said, he's getting more into this whole thing. And being David Lee Roth, it sounds like he really just wants to sink his teeth back in. He'll, thank a city that he just came from. Thank you, Columbia, South Carolina. Lexington, you're up next. Don't say we didn't warn you. And he's got someone professionally shooting his pictures. They look phenomenal. I suggest you all take a look at his social media sites because they're just filled with these incredible live shots of him. Unbelievable. Did you see any of these, Dave?
No, I haven't had a chance to see them yet, but it sounds like he's really embracing the new media.
Yeah.
I have to give kudos to his new manager, I think. She's really...
Somebody's kicking his ass.
Or somebody is leading him in the right direction on how to do things. So,
yeah,
I mean, hats off to the guy. Things are going really well for him.
Absolutely.
Super happy for the guy.
This is a weird thing. Podcast by columnist John Katslomides, looks like a very difficult Greek name, of Las Vegas Review-Journal. He did an interview with him, and this comment was before his Vegas residency, and I thought this was a strange comment. I wanted to bring this up to you, Dave, and see what you think. He says, I just called Ed to find out who the guitar tech I need to talk to is and some of the gear I need. Everybody's fully aware of the residents, in parentheses there. We live in small circles here. We have the same manager, everything. The stuff you sing along with, I wrote. I'm a part owner. It's in the DNA. Whatever happens with Van Halen, it's not for me to guess. I wouldn't hold my breath. What the hell do you make of that? I don't understand. They have the same manager? What the hell is that? They don't have the same manager.
Well, I try not to get too deep into his head because it hurts. So, I don't know where he's going with that.
Very strange.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I thought that was like a really odd choice of whatever. I don't know. Very strange. I can't figure that out. And now Wolf was out promoting his buddy's album. He may not be releasing his, but he went on Instagram and he was promoting his friend Clint Lowry's solo album, God Bless the Renegades, which came out on January 31st. And Wolf tracked drums for the album and some bass. And here's a clip right here. The album sounds killer. I love the album. I actually listened to it. I thought it was really good. Clint is from the band Seven Dust. He is definitely a talented guy and obviously recruited Wolf's talents for the album. Did you hear this, Dave?
No, I haven't heard any clips yet.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. Very
so he does drums and bass on the album?
He does some bass, but I think he tracked all the drums.
Wow, that's awesome.
I tell you, Wolf's a talented guy, man. Plays bass, guitar, key. I don't know if he plays key. Probably does. Like drums, he can sing. Who the hell knows? I want to hear the album, Wolf. Let's hear yours.
Yeah, right? I'm going to have to check out Clint's album.
Absolutely. And the last piece of Van Halen news is the new pics of Al. Oh, we never have Al in the Van Halen news. Reverend Al, he showed a picture of him in Switzerland with a lady. I don't know if it's his wife. Is he married, Dave? I don't even remember.
I think so, yeah.
I think he's married. Maybe that he says. And the weird part was It was under the account of Van Halen Farms, LLC, VH Farms, LLC. One of my favorite places with my favorite person. There was a picture of him with, I'm assuming his wife, sitting by like a river or something like that. And it was a beautiful picture of him in Europe, obviously having a good time, looking strong and healthy. What did you make of this?
Very nice to see him chilling out. I think he owns the farm, doesn't he? Or
he owns
something
a horse
like that.
farm, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know the deed. He's somehow involved with horses and a farm. So
right.
I don't know. But good for him hanging out in Switzerland. I'm insanely jealous.
Yeah, exactly. Eating some chocolate. Well, that wraps up Van Halen news.
And that's the way it is. Good night.
And we are on to our top 50 Van Halen best and worst moves. 25 of the best, 25 of the worst. Followed by our interview with Billy Sheehan, bassist for David Lee Roth for many years in the mid to late 80s. And it's all coming up next. But before we do that, we got some mail to get through. So, take a listen.
It's a constant movement. Who needs dead space? A lot of people have nothing to say in between songs. I love talking. I love telling jokes. For me, this is just one big wet t-shirt contest, you know? And so if you stop, you're going to talk, you're going to introduce things. How many bands have you heard? They get on stage and, oh, well, here's one off our 15th album. Hot dog time. Let's go get a hot dog, baby.
If you need a dose of VH, get a taste of the closest thing. Romeo Delight, the ultimate Van Halen tribute band, playing all the hits from the David Lee Roth era, first classic 6 albums, plus deep cuts, some of which have never been played live before by the band. They even throw in popular tracks from the Sammy Hagar era and solo hits. The most viewed Van Halen tribute band on YouTube, Romeo Delight, doing customized recreations of staging, instruments, and costumes from the classic Van Halen era. They even perform entire Van Halen albums in sequence. Romeo Delight plays theaters, casinos, summer indoor and outdoor festivals, and special events. They're also available for private parties. To contact them, call Bud Blanche at 215-704-5144. That's 215-704-5144. Or via email at sonicparade1@yahoo.com. Romeo Delight, the ultimate Van Halen tribute band.
This is Randy Bachman of BTO and the Guess Who. You're listening to Dave and Dave Unchained.
Check out the new podcast, The Rock Quarry, your place to hear in-depth interviews with some of rock's most colorful characters, with your host, entertainment journalist David J. Criblay. The Rock Quarry is available for free on Spreaker and iTunes. You can check us out on Facebook at The Rock Quarry Podcast, on Twitter at Rock Quarry Pod, on Instagram at The Rock Quarry Podcast, or email us at therockquarrypodcast@gmail.com.
I haven't been on a big worldwide kind of tour since the last Chickenfoot record, and even then it was like 50 shows. It's hard for me to go out for that long of a time anymore. I've just been doing it my whole life, and I start losing interest, and when I lose interest, I don't want to do it. You know, it's like I want to feel like when I go on stage, I want to do this. Oh boy, I can't wait to get out there on that stage. And so I usually limit it to the amount of time where I keep feeling like that, and this is working. You know, it's just physically very difficult as you get older to do a great show, which I want to do, you know, and I'm physical on stage and I sing very hard and loud and crazy and play extremely hard. And so when I'm done with that, the next morning I go, ooh, man, I'm like, wow, ouch, ouch, you know, hope I can sing good. So my voice has held up all these years, and I'm proud of that.
All right, Dave, you know what time it is.
Happy mailbag to you. And many more.
Okay. I thought you were going to go with the whole Marilyn Monroe thing. I was getting all excited.
Oh, easy. Slow down, Tonto.
Okay. Well, it is mailbag time again. Starting off here, Dave Moses, the fourth Dave. He says, Daves, what do you think of this? Ed says, now you wait 10 years, bitch. And he puts Roth in a holding pattern after their last tour. Subconscious payback for Roth leaving in 1985. Roth says, now who's joining Kiss, bitch? Ed was courted to join Kiss back in the day, and Roth is now opening for Kiss. However, I just read Roth's statement that he recently called Ed regarding who to use for a guitar amp tech or something like that. Say what you want, they're friends and connected for life. I think they really do care for each other, but cannot be with each other for hours or days on end. Dave said, I just called Ed to find out who the guitar tech I need to talk to is and some of the gear I need. Everybody's fully aware of the residency, and we all live in small circles. We all have the same manager, everything, just like we said before. Dave Moses, the fourth Dave. Well, Dave, I don't know what to say about this. I think these guys are all crazy. I mean, they're all like, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of egos. There's a lot of sensitivity involved. There's probably old shit from back in the day. I mean, it's kind of nuts and all over the place. I mean, you're not dealing with, regular sort of everyday people here. These guys have been celebrities since they're like children. I mean, we're not children, but at least young adults, I should say. When you're the most famous guitarist in the world and one of the most famous singers in the world who's also maybe insecure in some degrees and this and that, and also has a massive ego and, all the women and all the stuff. I mean, I think it adds up to one big, bumblefuck. I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
And those two guys are like night and day.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah. Night and day.
Dave Moses has a point that I think they certainly respect each other.
Yeah, totally.
And would like to work with each other.
Right.
I don't think like this last time, I don't think Ed was like, screw you. And then Dave was like, well, screw you. I think they both knew what the deal was. Dave wasn't happy with it, but, it didn't stop him from asking Ed for equipment recommendations or tech recommendations or whatever. So I think somehow they just do their thing, and if they can make it work, great. And if they can't make it work, I really don't think either of them loses sleep over it like you and I do.
Right, that's true. Letter number 2 comes from Eric Torbeck. If you remember, we saw Eric at the Cabo Wabo. So he says, what's up, guys? Love the Vegas podcast. I have 2 suggestions for a future deep dive discussion, if you don't mind. First would be the early demos, the Zero and After Zero source bootlegs. We all love Van Halen 1, but would you have changed anything from those demos to the album? Second would be the unreleased early songs. Would love to hear your take on some of these unfinished gems. I always loved Just What You Wanted and Honolulu Baby, and would have loved to hear them as finished products. Keep waving the Van Halen flag, Eric Torbeck. And Eric, I can't say your PS here. I've been banished from putting in the PS by the management here. So so I'm sure we will get to that, Eric. I think there's plans for that. We will certainly get to that at some point. We definitely want to do that. And Dave, you have any thing to mention?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to do an episode on the early unreleased songs.
Yeah.
I'm all in on that. Anything replaced on the first album, man, I would never second guess the band or Ted Templeman on such a classic release.
Yeah, I couldn't touch that. I tell you, the more I think about it, I always say like that, Fair Warning is my favorite, and it is, but like that first album is perfect. I mean, it really is. It's just so perfect, and it flows so well. Even the damn track listing is amazing, and the way it moves, and the sound is just, it's ridiculous. It's so good. Anyway, letter number 3 comes from Down Under Dave. John McDonald from Australia, and he says, I just got through January's podcast, one of the best you guys have done in my view. Like many aging rock fans, I subscribe to a number of pods, and I always look forward to yours as each month draws to a close. While no doubt a labor of love, I'm sure this took a ton of work and your precious time to put it together, and I'm so glad you're doing it and hope you keep going, even if the band remains in a frustrating, likely permanent status. In some ways, it makes the show more poignant. My ears were prickled when you mentioned how critical Eddie Trunk has been of Dave's first Up Vegas show.